I want to ask you something about the enemy, your enemy, and that is Hamas. The Hamas self-declared military commander Mohammed al-Deif said in a recorded message, the enemy, i.e. Israel, will understand that the time of their rampaging without accountability has ended. How do you respond to that?
You know, the Hamas is, if I have to compare them to any organization we have known in the past, it's like Daesh. Some of them are got a better level of performance than in the past. And it also raised the price and made these attacks successful beyond all our failures. And we have to take them more seriously. They surprise with their success. But basically, they are tough enemies. So unlike other enemies, we fought very hardly with the Jordanians, with Egyptians. At the end, we could make peace with them. There is no way to make peace with Hamas. So they should be somehow paralyzed from being able to come again as a fighting force against Israel. And that will take a lot of work and a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice. I hope not too much time and too high death toll.
So when you look at it, and I know you've said it, this was the worst day in our history, and a huge failure, as everybody's been talking about, of you've just said it, of intelligence and all the way up the political spectrum. I spoke to the former Mossad director Ephraim Halevi, who said to me yesterday, the system has suffered a very, very seismic shock. So the sentiment inside your country is also just in terrible shock, and like everybody wondering how this can have happened. How does Mohammed Daif and his brigades do this? How? Without we've grown up believing that you have like a superpower there in Israel, politically, militarily, and intelligence-wise.
No, Israel remains a superpower compared to Hamas, but it's true, it's a matter of fact that if determined youngsters are trained systematically, and they are even improving through the continued friction with us, because usually the best of them remain and climb up. They learn their lessons, and they improved. We have to take their capabilities to be higher than what we assumed until a few days ago. And we will do it. But having said that, basically it remains a murderous organization, even if the individual terrorists are better trained or better equipped, and we have to deal with them. No modern civilized country can have such a neighbor who initiate and execute such operation. We cannot afford having it once again. If I care on one thing, is the upper echelon of our command, the inner cabinet within the government. It is now relatively weak. We have there the Minister of Defense, another minister who was secretary or was head of the Secret Service, and Netanyahu himself. That's a weak combination, a weak team to lead such a crisis. And I think that there should be a change in the cabinet, probably through this emergency unity government. But that's some more serious people, more heavyweights, should be brought into the cabinet in order to lead the crisis calmly and with cool-headed. And I always request in strategic issues, especially boiling blood is not a good recipe for successful strategic decisions.
Can I ask you one last question, because this has come up many, many times that you have had engagements against Gaza and against Hamas. The civilians are also attacked. Whether or not you say you intend it, they are. There are some, according to the ministry there in Gaza, nearly 800 people killed, including more than 100 children. 4,000 people have been wounded. And your own government, your own defense minister, has declared Gaza under siege, which the UN is saying is actually illegal under international law, stopping water, food, fuel, electricity. How much and how long will your government, how long will it go once, as you know will happen, there will be criticisms of the carnage we also see inside Gaza?
We'll try to make clear, we announce in advance, everyone who knows that in his building there is any activity of the Hamas should, in order to protect himself, to leave the place. We try to pass this kind of warning. We do not sit on the same level. We are a civilized country. We're not going to, there is certain collateral damage. Every country who operated under such situations know it, but that's the whole difference. We are doing as to a certain extent inevitable result of having to attack them when they deliberately deploy themselves among citizens, while they came into kibbutzim and other settlements and to cities deliberately in order to massacre and basically
and we're going to
slaughter
human
beings, elderly, some of them. Yeah.